practice in our course or afterwards
Yep.
on aborting a launch.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you're so keen to get up and get a launch. How often do you actually deliberately get it to 3/4 and then try to abort?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was having trouble with.
Is that, like, when you go ground handling, everybody loves to get their wing up and then just stand and see how long you can keep it up.
Yep.
And that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Like, it's a good skill.
Yep.
But I'd actually recommend it's kind of like I think the number of flights in your first year is more important than the number of hours.
Yeah.
Similarly with ground handling, it's like, I used to do this, like I'd go to the thing, bunch my glide, like get it out, bunch it all up, and then I'd walk over, put it down, lay it out, pull it up, get under, and as soon as I had it straight, I'd turn and kill it. And then I'd bunch it up, and then lay it out and do it again. Like just, and doing the whole thing, like laying it out and managing your glider in the wind, so that it doesn't blow away, so it doesn't roll over, and getting all your lines out straight, checking all your connections again, pull it up, as soon as you're up and you're happy, turn and kill it. Like, and
Practicing,
because that's actually
I've really got it.
that twisty one's really, you know, the important bit of getting it. But on the other side of it, when you're facing it, how many times do you, if you play B's, or A's and C's, you can bring it right down to the ground, you know, have it just touching, bring it all the way back. And so playing that way whilst facing the wing is, you know, absolutely key, because then you know, you start to build that kind of muscle memory of just what the load is at various points.
And trying to launch it without touching your A's.
That's kind of in the, you know, cool category rather than rather useful.
Pretty mangled doing it.
And like I was saying to you the other day, ground handling and, you know, spending ages like just kiting your wing, it's great, but it's not what you do when you're flying. Like when you're flying, you basically want to get your wing up, really under control, check it, check that everything's like, you know, and you should be checking all your lines before you even lift it. But check everything looks good, turn, and you want to be like, turning and stepping off the hill. So like spending ages like this on the hill is like a recipe for getting a gust and getting dragged, and even when you're ground handling. So most of the time, it's better to be facing your wing and doing the hands-off thing and, you know, managing everything, facing your wing.
Even that letting go of the brakes and grabbing your lines behind and playing with it like that.
Yeah.
If you're doing that on launch, like, it's too late, isn't it? Surely you should have actually balanced it before getting to that point.
Yeah, often if it's really light, I'll start off with A's and C's, but I know it's probably not going to work. Like on Wellington especially, because it's like a step. So you're launching in dead air, and often you'll start pulling your glider up, and it'll start coming up, and then it'll just start to drop, and I'll just drop everything, grab my A's, and steer it up, and then like just grab a brake, and I'm just like hands off, and then I'll turn, get my handles as I'm walking, and go. But that's from practicing doing that, ground handling all the time. Like, you know, so I'll try, I practice front launches, because we never front launch here. So sometimes I'll just go to the paddock and just practice front launching, so that when it comes time to do it, I can remember how to do it. Like even just that, like, you know, you do it from the very start when you're learning, and then as soon as you start flying in Tassie, you probably won't do another one for years. So I make myself do front launches, so that I can get good at it and feel what the wing's doing and whether it's coming up straight or crooked. But yeah, all of that, like just ground handling is so fundamental to so many things. And even then once you start like, you know, doing SIV and flying acro and stuff, you can do half that stuff on the ground with your wing. So and the other trick is to find somewhere to ground handle that's on a bit of a slope.
That's what I'm.
Because when you get used to, like if you're launching on the flat, all the airflow is like in flat laminar flow. So you pull your wing up and it has a natural position that it wants to sit, angle of attack. But when you're on a hill, because the hill's sloped like that, the air's flowing up that way, so the wing naturally wants to sit further over your head. So then if you've been practicing, you're used to seeing the wing sitting there. When you get on the hill, you keep stopping it there, but it's actually still in the power zone, and it keeps pulling you. You have to actually let it go a little bit further than you're used to to get fully over your head, where it's relaxed, basically, and it's balanced. But practicing on the flat is, Like it's great and it's convenient, but
You've also got
really good to do it uphill sometimes as well.
So you've got more time to move and get under it and adjust.
Timing's all the same. It's just it sits in a different spot on a hill
Marianne
because the
Bay
air's
is really
coming
good.
up that way
Yeah.
towards.
Is it
Long way to drive.
It is a long way to drive. At least we have a weather station there to know that it's on. But the ground handling there is, you know, up on the little hillock behind the cliff. You can have a great time doing, you know, 10-metre flights, 50-metre flights, and turning, walking back up.
It's really good.
Fly back down.
And the air's nice and laminar, so you can do all of that stuff without getting knocked over all the time. And then, you know, just to build up all those skills. And then when you do fly somewhere that's a bit more turbulent, like, you know, one of the parks or whatever around the city, it'll be more turbulent. But at least you've got fundamentals down, and you can then learn what happens when your wings tumbling about and stuff, and be on top of it. So yeah.